Unbelievable trade rumors. You need to know. When you heard the news of Carlos Correa coming back to the Astros, you couldn't believe your ears, right? But what if I told you the Pirates almost traded away their rookie phenom, Paul Skenes, too? Oh yes, baseball's trade rumor mill is pure chaos. Some of these deals were real, some were fake, and some were so insane they made fans riot on Twitter. Let's break down the most jaw-dropping trade rumors that nearly broke baseball.
He hits this one out in the right center field, and that one's going to get down for a base hit. Altuve is on his way to third base, and Altuve around third and coming home. Here's a throw to the plate by Gregorius. It's dropped by Sanchez. Altuve scores, and the Astros won it.
Rumors were swirling. Carlos Correa back to the Astros? Nobody saw that coming. Nobody, and I mean nobody, saw this coming. Just days before the 2025 trade deadline, the Houston Astros stunned the league by bringing back a familiar face, Carlos Correa. The same Correa who left in 2021, the same Correa who spent years as public enemy number one for many fan bases. It was a shocking trade rumor that many were skeptical about. Some Astros fans were less forgiving than others. But now that the rumors turned into reality, there isn't much anyone could do. Correa is back in the Houston blue and orange after waiving his no-trade clause with the Twins, proving this league can flip overnight.
A stolen base, and he has just hammered one to left field. High and deep. Watch this one. See ya. Carlos Correa is first major league.
Correa didn't just come home for sentimental reasons. The Astros are in win-now mode, and they knew exactly what they were getting. Postseason pedigree, clubhouse leadership, and a shortstop who thrives under pressure. MLB insiders were floored by this news, though. Ken Rosenthal called it the twist nobody saw coming. Jeff Passan said it was a move straight out of the 2017 playbook, vintage Houston. And just like that, the Astros became a problem again. The ripple effect was instant. Infield chemistry reset, playoff odds bumped, and Twins fans? They were torn between heartbreak and logic because, truthfully, Minnesota got a solid return in top prospects. But make no mistake, this was a power move by a franchise that's tired of watching October from the couch. And for Correa, it's redemption, a chance to rewrite the ending in the city where it all started. Whether it works or not, one thing's clear. This wasn't just a trade, it was a statement.
By swinging a drive, this one is crushed up into the monster seats and gone. He leaned on that one.
Imagine if the best player of his generation, Mike Trout, had actually been traded to the Philadelphia Phillies. Sounds impossible, right? Well, it nearly happened. When the news of a possible Mike Trout trade hit the mainstream, it felt so real, at least for a minute. The idea of Mike Trout in a Phillies uniform was more than just fantasy. It was an actual conversation happening in backrooms, barbershops, and front offices alike. Everyone raved and debated about it.
Trout hammers it. Left field. That's deep. Airfield back. That is gone. Home run.
Trout, a South Jersey kid and diehard Philly fan, had always been tied to the Phillies in spirit. But around 2020 and Agamazien, Trout was pushing 30. The Angels were going nowhere, and he was carrying a 12-year, $426 million contract that suddenly looked heavier than ever. Phillies fans could almost taste it. Trout and Bryce Harper in the same lineup? That's a World Series cheat code.
There's a launch to left. Mike Trout has tied it up. A three-run homer and a double.
Analysts even started mocking up trade packages. Top prospects like Mick Abel, Bryson Stott, and a few MLB-ready arms all on the table. But just as the hype reached its peak, reality hit. The contract, the injuries, the optics. Trading a generational player isn't just about numbers, it's about legacy. And for the Angels, pulling that trigger would have been waving a white flag on a decade of promise. So the deal quietly died. But the fans' reactions to the possibility of a move never faded. Some called it the dream that got away. Others were relieved, saying it would have gutted the farm. And Trout? He stayed loyal, even as the Phillies kept climbing. We'll never know how close it really got, but for one surreal stretch, the best player in baseball almost came home.
Suarez for the Angels. Trout making a bid for a two-homer night. To deep center field. And gone!
In 1920, the wildest trade rumor in baseball actually came true, and it changed the game forever. Babe Ruth was leaving the Red Sox and heading to the Yankees. At the time, it was shocking. Today, it's considered the most lopsided trade in baseball history. If you've always wondered how it went down, you're at the right spot.
Ruth hit his 60 homers in 1927. Watch him, fans, as he swings around the bases. You're watching Diamond history. This was Babe Ruth, Mr.
In 1919, the Boston Red Sox had Babe Ruth, the most feared hitter the game had ever seen. But in a move so outrageous, it still echoes through baseball folklore, the team sold Ruth to the New York Yankees for $125,000 in cash and a $300,000 loan backed by Fenway Park. No prospects, no player swap, just straight up cash. At the time, fans thought it was a joke. Everyone believed it was just mere rumors and there wasn't much to it. But it turned out to be all too real. Now here's the crazy part. It turned out that the initial figures of the trade reported by the New York Times were completely false. The actual purchase price wasn't the claimed $125,000. It was $100,000, payable in 4 annual installments of $25,000 at 6% interest. Imagine that kind of ridiculous deal for a once-in-a-generation player like Babe Ruth. Now, don't get it twisted, $100,000 was a lot of money in the 1920s, but as a baseball fan, who do you think got the best of that bargain? Boston or the Yankees? Ruth would go on to smash 54 home runs in his first season as a Yankee, nearly doubling the entire league's home run totals. The impact was instant. New York became a baseball powerhouse, and Boston spiraled into a curse that lasted 86 years. The Red Sox faithful were furious, and newspapers roasted owner Harry Frazee for gutting the team to finance his Broadway plays. Yankees fans, on the other hand, couldn't believe their luck. They had just pulled off the greatest heist in baseball. Even a century later, this trade still feels like a glitch in the Matrix. It wasn't just lopsided. It was the blueprint for what not to do as a franchise. Ruth didn't just change uniforms. He changed the sport. From small ball to slugfest, from scrappy to superstar, from Boston heartbreak to Yankee dynasty. And it all started with a trade so absurd, it feels like it should have been just a rumor. But nope, it happened. And baseball was never the same again. In 2023, Shohei Ohtani wasn't just the best player in baseball, he was 2 players packaged in one body, wearing the same jersey. He was, and still is, the best hitter and pitcher baseball has ever seen since the glory days of Babe Ruth. And yet, as the trade deadline loomed, whispers started to spread like wildfire. Could the Angels actually trade him? To fans, it sounded like baseball blasphemy. But to front offices, it was a once-in-a-century opportunity.
Ohtani sends another one out to right field. That one doesn't stand a chance to stick around. 2-run shot. Second of the night for Shohei. And the halo.
The Angels were struggling. Ohtani was set to hit free agency that winter, and the idea of letting a generational talent walk away for nothing had everyone on edge. The Dodgers, Braves, Giants, Orioles, Yankees, even the Blue Jays. Every contender either picked up the phone or thought about it. The Angels listened, but never pulled the trigger. Why? Because the asking price was insane, and rightfully so.
3-2. He got him again! 11 for Ohtani!
Teams were reportedly told it would take at least 3 elite prospects, 2 MLB-ready stars, and maybe even a future draft pick just to stay in the conversation. The Orioles, loaded with farm talent, were viewed as a potential match, but even they blinked. Nobody wanted to mortgage their future, even for Shohei. Still, the rumors took on a life of their own. Toronto fans convinced themselves Ohtani was coming. Blue Jays Twitter went full meltdown mode, with fans tracking flights, reading tea leaves, and analyzing grainy photos of Ohtani's dog at Pearson Airport. When he eventually didn't come, let's just say they didn't take it well. When he played in Toronto in 2024, the fans booed him louder than any villain in the league. "He used us for leverage," they shouted. "We were going to name our kids Shohei." But in the end, Ohtani chose the Dodgers. 10 years, $700 million. But with a twist, $680 million of it is deferred until after the contract ends. It was financial wizardry that stunned the league. Dave Roberts said, "This wasn't just a signing, it was a shift." And he was right. Ohtani wasn't just almost traded, he reshaped how teams think about value. One call away from the wildest trade in decades, he instead signed the richest contract in sports history, and somehow made it a bargain.
Smacks one in the air, deep center field. Forget about it, it's gone. The Dodgers
Now let's talk about a rumor so outrageous. It almost broke baseball Twitter. Would you ever believe if someone told you that the Pittsburgh Pirates, a team finally showing signs of life, are actually considering trading Paul Skenes, their #1 overall pick, their ace of the future, and arguably the most hyped rookie pitcher since Steven Strasburg? Absolutely not, right? Well, it happened, and that rumor didn't come from a troll account. It came from real conversations inside real front offices. Multiple teams called Pittsburgh in 2024 and again in early 2025, checking in just to see if there was any chance they'd move Skenes. And to the shock of Pirates fans who follow the team religiously, the front office didn't slam the door immediately.
Here it is. Swing and a foul tip. He struck him out.
For context, Skenes was blowing away hitters with triple-digit heat, pinpoint command, and a bulldog mound presence. In just his first few MLB starts, he was already striking out 10+ per game and looking like the kind of guy you build an entire rotation and brand around. So when rumors started circulating that the Pirates were listening, fans lost it. We're talking full Reddit meltdown. One fan posted, "If they trade Skenes, I'm not just done with the Pirates. I'm done with baseball." Another fan on Twitter said, "This is worse than the McCutchen trade. This is criminal." Sports radio in Pittsburgh lit up like it was DEFCON 1. Even national analysts weighed in. John called it a dangerous signal to the fan base, and Ken Rosenthal warned that, "You don't trade unicorns unless you're getting a farm and the barn." Of course, the Pirates never made a move. They downplayed the rumors, said Skenes was part of the future, and tried to put out the fire. But the damage was done. Even the possibility that the Pirates would shop their franchise cornerstone had fans looking over their shoulders. Once trust breaks in a small market city, it's hard to get it back. Was it ever serious? Maybe not. But the fact that it wasn't immediately denied said everything. In a league driven by money, value, and timing, even a guy like Paul Skenes isn't off limits forever.
Strikes him out with 100 to start his second Major League outing. Struck him out looking with 100 on the inside corner. He struck him out with 100.
Some of these trades changed the course of baseball history. Others never happened but almost did, and that's what makes them legendary. One front office decision, one phone call, one moment of hesitation. That's all it takes to flip the game forever. Whether it's Babe Ruth being sold for cash or Paul Skenes almost being shipped before he even unpacked, one thing's always true in baseball. No rumor is too crazy until it happens. Now it's your turn. Which rumor still haunts you? Which trade do you wish actually went down? Drop your wildest MLB what-ifs in the comments, because if there's one thing this sport never runs out of, it's drama.